Good morning. This is actually a morning musing, and I'm going to be sharing again my observation from what I'm feeling and what I am perceiving. Your mileage may vary, but I just want to put it out there as something to consider. Where am I going to begin today? I've got so many thoughts converging again. Maybe I'll start with an NDE that I was watching yesterday. I love to study NDEs. I love to make my observations of the different dimensions. And if you get to experience an NDE, much like taking a mushroom trip, or whatever else you use as your hallucinogen. Obviously, those are not words that I use every day, so I have trouble pronouncing them. But what I'm finding interesting about all of these trips, are a visitation within the five-dimensional human awareness. A person that is experiencing an NDE, or out-of-body experience, while attached to the silver cord, is only going to have the awareness of the fifth dimension. Possibly fourth dimension. Actually, you can have the awareness of all five dimensions. But when you go out of body, you're most likely in the fourth or fifth dimension, depending on how badly cluttered your mind, your subconscious mind is. And you're going to get access to your fifth dimension. But you're still attached to the human consciousness. You're still attached to all the impressions of all the human lifetimes and all the information that your consciousness, your subconscious, has absorbed. You're also connected to the collective consciousness, which is not necessarily, it's limited to this universe, the universe centering around the earth. And the human experience, right? They say there are many universes, but when you go out of body, you're just within the universe that makes up the human earth experience. And so you can step out of the body, you're stepping out of one dimension, and you're detached from the density of that dimension, and you go into the astral dimension, or the fifth dimension, and you see yourself as the all consciousness that gives your body life, right? And so such an experience gives us access and awareness that we're not just the body, There is an awareness to us that is outside of the body. What I found fascinating in watching the near-death experience is that, okay, when we are in the body density, in the body dimension, we're all about many people that are subconsciously experiencing their trauma. Those people are all about denying oneself, right? We want to get out of this life. We want to get out of this body. You're very much tipping on the scale towards denying yourself. When you get out of body into the near-death experience, there are no emotions. In the spiritual dimension of being out of body, in the dimension of just your soul, you are almost totally self-absorbed, and you don't have any empathy or compassion or consideration for what's taking place in the body. In fact, in most cases, those near-death experiencers that have their soul consciousness removed from their physical body, they look at their body with disgust. They have no concern for the body. They have no concern for the loved ones that are grieving, that are crying the loss. It's like almost like a spiritual narcissist. That world no longer exists. It's just you in the cloud formation of your own soul, and you are all there is. And I found it very interesting. That is how to experience the dimensions when we divide them all, right? When they're not connected. And I thought, that sounds so, I don't know, I feel like being totally in your spirit awareness definitely is no earthly good. You're severed, you're disconnected from the earth dimension. And I feel that in a lot of ways, the people who are espousing non-duality, they are people that have glimpsed the higher dimension, the fifth dimension, and seen themselves as the all-compassing consciousness that hovers above, the lower dimension of earth, and has no concern for earth life. That's why we're so often using the language like that this earth life is not real, that it's all illusion, that the real experience is the one in the spirit, the disembodied experience is the real experience. And I think we're just being fooled. Our consciousness gravitates toward that which feels good. And of course, the fifth dimension, the spirit dimension, feels a lot better than the third dimension of physical density. And so we're always gravitating toward that which feels better. And then in our dual mind, we disavow that which didn't feel so good. So even in the out-of-body experience, we're still creating dualism. And I don't resonate with the non-dualist teachings anymore. Maybe it is because as humans we lack the ability to express that dimension, and then it comes across so disconnected. And I don't want to be so spiritual that I'm so disconnected that I no longer feel with our physical aspect. and feel for people who are hurting in this life, who are being victimized, right? I think we've got to find the middle ground between these two dimensions, and maybe that is the fourth dimension, right? In the fifth dimension, we are too far removed from the third dimension to where we have no empathy, no compassion, just like that person that is out of body and doesn't care what's happening down there on earth, right? Doesn't care that there is a broken body and that there are people crying and grieving over the loss of life, over the loss of love. So maybe the goal is to come and combine everything in the 4D, right? And I'm onto the human psyche. I really am onto our human psyche. The human psyche is always looking for better, is always looking for easier, is always looking for more spiritual. It is a subconscious running away from what is. And like I say, one thing I don't want to become is to become so disconnected from this reality. I believe this is the only reality that is relevant. What we are experiencing in the disembodied state is not relevant for right now. Our earth experience is the only real experience, and spirit is going to continue to seek physical experience over and over and over again, because this is the reality, not the spirit reality. Spirit reality, timelessness, instantly manifesting your thought, is going to become very boring after a while. There's no challenge. There's no challenge. And like I say, there's also no emotion. There is no connection in the way that we can feel connection here, because there is no separation. Here is separation, and you can only experience connection while in separation, right? So, did any of this make any sense? I don't know. Just expressing my feelings, trying to put my feelings, my awareness into words. And as hard as this life is, I like it here. I like physicality. I like what we get to experience here. The full range of emotions. Like I say, there's no compassion, no emotion out of body. There's nothing. Neutrality. Don't have the word for it. So, yeah. I think we need to focus on how can we connect these dimensions instead of disavowing one dimension and then preferring another dimension and then speaking from up here where we're not connected to here at all as far as humanity goes, right? So, and I know everything is linked to trauma work. We disavow ourselves because we have the unconscious feelings of guilt, shame, embarrassment. We just don't like ourselves because of what has happened to us, right? We gaslight ourselves. So we're constantly trying to run away from the human awareness, dissociate, and run off into spiritual experiences. Even with taking, mushrooms and stuff, we want something better. But after you've had your out-of-body experience, you need to come back into the body and integrate those two dimensions into one to become earthly good, right? So anyways, long ramblings, 15 minutes already. I hope I said something valuable. Just sharing my heart.